What's up, YouTube? I actually had a bit of debate about whether I was even going to publish this video because in a way it's a bit redundant. I've since, as you can see, upgraded this computer quite a bit from the following clips in this video. I've added a different motherboard, CPU cooler. The video card is now a Vega 56 Red Dragon. I added another 2 terabyte hard drive, so it has a total capacity of 4 terabytes of storage. But I think some of you might find the clips inside this video interesting, so I decided to go ahead and put this together. If some of this stuff is confusing, just keep in mind this is some incomplete footage. What's up, YouTube? Back again with this ATX full tower computer build. Just thought I'd make another little update since I'm in the process of making a few changes. Today I'll be swapping out this CX450 power supply for this 750 watt EVGA power supply, so I'm pretty excited about that. This is just more of an entry level power supply, and I think this one will be much more befitting this case. A few more changes I made since the last video. I did add a Blu-ray drive so I can rip my Blu-ray disc. This is just a reader, it's not a burner drive. And I have added a couple mechanical drives from systems I've stripped down. I only have 2 of them hooked up currently because the power supply, actually the Corsair CX450, only has 2 pigtails with 2 Sata power connectors on each one. This EVGA has 3 pigtails with 3 connectors each for a total of 9 Sata power adapters, so that'll be perfect for this case with its 3x2 drive cage and then the 3 5¼ inch drive cage. So I think that'll be pretty nice. And take a nice before in, all this wiring is just slapped in here. So I'm going to take my time today and do a little bit more cable management, I think. Try and get this looking nice. Really excited about this power supply. I have already opened it up and everything, but it is quite the high quality supply, just, you know, to the touch and everything. So really excited. Seems like my kitties approve of the new power supply. This thing is very beefy, very heavy duty. Get a nice shot of the protective film coming off. Everyone likes that, and it came with quite a few extra cables, which I thought was nice. The Seasonic I recently purchased came with more options for cables on the power supply than cables that were actually included, and wanted you to purchase them separately. And although it's a nice supply, I do like the value that EVGA gives you with their supply. One more problem I'm hoping this new power supply will remedy is a short SATA power cable for the 5¼ inch drives. We will see if the EVGA cable has the necessary length to go through both the bottom and top cable management grommets and not have strain on the connectors. Kitties everywhere. Alright, I've got the power supply out of the case, the Corsair CX450. You can see it's quite a bit physically smaller than this EVGA 750, but that is to be expected. And not to knock this power supply at all, it's just a little bit more limited in the expandability options. And I think this EVGA is going to do nice. Alright, the new power supply is installed. I've got the cable management mostly complete. I might add a tie strap here or there. I'm reasonably happy with the way it turned out. All the cables on this power supply are of a very generous length, and I will say that this cable is very stiff but easy to bend and manipulate how you would like with this power supply. So it's pretty easy to work with. Only thing on the front side I'm not really happy about was that one SATA connector there. The right angle plug, unfortunately, was backwards, so it would have looked probably even goofier that way. But overall, pretty pleased with how it turned out. we'll switch around to the back side and take a look. I think the back looks much nicer also personally. None of this will realistically ever be seen. This case doesn't even have any side windows or anything, but it matters to me, and I'm sure many of you YouTube viewers are the same way. And I rearranged the drives a little bit, so the 2.5-inch drives on top. These drive cages, you can mount the 2.5-inch drives directly to them. They have the little mounting points, but I was not really happy with the rigidity of the drive assembly like that. Probably wouldn't be an issue, but I had a, don't know if you can see it, I used a 2.5 to 3.5-inch adapter bracket and flipped it upside down so that the Sata connectors would clear, and that seems to be working out pretty nicely. Adds a little more structure to the drive, but I'm getting to be chit-chatting a lot here, so I'm going to go ahead and hook up a test monitor and just make sure I've got everything connected correctly before I move it back to its home on the desk over there. Looks like when I first put this system together I missed these little Vantex badges, the protective film covering them. It's actually pretty difficult to peel. I've already peeled the middle one off. Let's see if I can peel it off on camera. I doubt I can. It's pretty tough stuff. That's why I think initially I didn't even realize it was there. There we go. Anyways, you guys get the idea. I guess we'll find out if I hooked everything up correctly. Huh, that's an encouraging sign. There we go. Alright. I've got some configuring to do since I've swapped all these drives around. Had a bit of a close call there, YouTube. I guess RGB is good for something. I didn't notice when I first booted the computer up, but one of the 2 RAM sticks was not glowing. So upon further investigation, it actually come loose from the socket. It was working before, so I believe it happened when I was installing the power supply cables. Unfortunately, this case, you can see there's a standoff point there that is not utilized by this case, and there's actually a lot of flex on this part of the board. It's not supported very well on this edge of the board. So I believe that that caused the RAM module to come unseated, so that's a bit disconcerting, but luckily nothing was damaged. So I guess everything turned out alright. I guess it really was April Fool's Day today. This is the program I'll be using to partition and set up my drives, letter them and everything. It's free software. It's not the greatest, but it gets the job done. Alright, the Drive Master software is doing its thing, wiping the 1 terabyte mechanical drive I added this system. Between all 3 mechanical drives, it's only going to have a capacity of 2 terabytes plus the 250 gig M.2 SSD, but that's okay because all these hard drives were free, so not really a big deal, and it's not like I deal with any files larger than will fit on those drives. I think they'll be fine for the meantime. But while I'm waiting on that to do its thing, I thought I would work on another little project. Since I've freed up a power supply, I have another system I can put together. I also snagged this HP, ooh, my light's going a little crazy. This HP SSD, this was under $20 out the door from a retail store. So pretty impressive considering how much the price has come down. Wow, that light is really irritating. This case here is going to be what the donor parts are mostly coming out of. It has a flaky power supply. It's pretty much gutted at this point. The motherboard in this case, it's actually a standard mini ITX case. So everything moved over to this Shinbro SR209 case that I picked up off eBay a little while ago. I do have plans for a different build in this computer eventually, but in the meantime I think it'll be fun just to do something with these spare parts, especially since I have a Windows license for this board, an OEM license. So I think I'll go ahead and get to it. This mini ITX board looks quite comical in this full ATX case. You can see the fan for the CPU is quite clogged with dust. Don't really like the fan mounting system. They just have the screws going in between the fins, and it just splays the fins out to hold the fan to the heatsink, but I guess whatever works. I guess it was a low-cost solution. Not really much going on with this motherboard. It's pretty basic. It's part of one of those big box store systems, so it doesn't have a whole lot of option as far as feature expandability goes. It does have one RAM slot that's not populated. I'll have to look around and see if I have any laptop style DIMMs that'll fit. It does not have any PCI Express expansion options, so really not a whole lot I can do, but all the parts are sitting around to put a system together, so I'm going to do it just to have something fun to do today. I think I'm going to put a pin in this video today. I've gotten a bit off topic. But if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a comment down below and subscribe. There'll be plenty of computer and audio related stuff here in the near future. So stay tuned. Now,